Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 5 of class. This is going to be a short video. Got a couple articles and stuff for you guys to read, so don't want to make you have a long video to watch and then have some articles that you have to go over to. I have briefly gone over the projects to this point. It's been a busy couple weeks with my day job at esports coach, budget proposals, things like that. So I'll try to get those graded as quickly as possible. But just know that I'm gonna try to give like in-depth like criticisms, things like that. Really try to explain your grade, so that you can use that as we go into the next couple projects, and then end up using it on the final. Once we get there, I will say that we will have um part 2. I'm gonna try to have that posted um by the end of this week so that I can explain it in next week's video to give you a couple weeks to work on it. We'll go over that a little bit later. Um, but let's head right over here. So now we can see what we have going on for the week. So this week's topic is coaching styles. So really we're going to look at um, coaches in esports, kind of how they operate, what their roles are, what they may do, how that's different at different levels, and then also talk about the different styles and stuff that we see in coaching. So just to talk a little bit about that now, to give you guys something to go off of that's not just the article. Coaching in esports is there can be very different from traditional sports, with the exception of a couple games you don't have a coach there. Like imagine a basketball game, right, where you have the coach who may be yelling plays to run from the side, constant reminders, letting you know what to do, or to, um, yeah, just to be able to go through and stuff like that. Traditionally, at least before rule changes in tennis, I could only talk to my coach in between in switchovers. So that's really kind of more akin to what esports is, right? You don't have the coach in call with you as you're playing. They're more like setting you up um, for once you get into the game. Maybe some quick reminders in between during a full game, stuff like that. But once you're in with your team, once you're doing what you're doing, you don't really have that coaching there with you. So there's a lot of different things that go into being an esports coach, and so much of it is just prepping your players and knowing that they're ready. Coaches serve roles. Sometimes they'll do things like scouting reports on other teams. If they see like popular breakoffs or something, how a team like their breakoffs in Valorant, or where they're starting in League, what a team tends to favor, what champions they play, agents, things like that. So that's a lot of what coaches will do, have that prepared, talk through players and plan, and get them ready for the games. Also, a lot of VOD review. Being a coach in esports is usually pretty critical. You're going to need to be going over matches, watching your players' VODs, your games' VODs, pointing out where things went well, where they could be improved, how to improve them, giving pretty detailed notes, different things like that. But also reviewing VOD of other teams with your players again in that kind of prepping stage of a match and things like that. So there's a lot of things that go into being an esports coach, um, just for you to feel like you're not having an impact while the players are actually like competing. So that's something that's a little bit different than say traditional sports, where a coach is on the sideline. You can hear them. You're yelling when you're plugged in. With esports, headphones on, you're in a call with your teammates going through. It's a lot different. One notable kind of difference that I'll mention is Halo. So Halo coaches are like basically fifth players without a controller. Oftentimes they're standing behind their players with the headset on in call with them, going through usually keeping track of like power weapon timings, spawns and things like that. So that's one less thing the players themselves have to worry about, and they can focus on the plays that they need to make and where they need to be. So for example, in Halo, it can be a really big deal on a particular map to make sure that your team gets the sniper. So coaches are gonna have a note of the countdown when the last typer or when the last sniper spawned, when it's going to spawn again, so that players can in the lead up to that sniper spawn play the map in a way to be prepared to grab it, use it, and then take control of that power weapon to keep moving through the map. So some really cool things there where coaches can have an impact. That's just a little bit about what a coach does in esports and how it's a little bit different. But I do have some articles that will talk about that for you too. So otherwise, this to do also watch the video that I'm recording right now, and then also read these linked articles. So first, role of an esports coach. Um, it's hard to find like up to date um, like esports articles and things like that. This one's not too old, just from a couple years ago, midsummer. I found it to be a pretty helpful article. So just make sure you read through this to really get an understanding as we move into like discussion questions and things like that. Next is also the coaching styles here. Next Level Esports is a good resource. They do some really good stuff. Um, so this is really a good article to read here. Just a nice snippet about maybe different types of coaches in like an esports minded view, right? Like we could find these coaching styles or examples and stuff when it comes to traditional sports, and I could go through and explain that. But this does a really good job of kind of breaking it down in the lens of esports. After the linked articles, you want to make sure you watch the video and read the articles before you start the discussion. No replies are needed for this week. Just want to give you a break after the project. It could be a busy time, early spring, if you're involved in any sports or things like that. I know you could be traveling, starting up matches, games, whatever you're gonna call it. So just keep that in mind. That no replies, but posts are going to be due Sunday at 11:59. So on a week like this, when there are no replies due, please put some like real thought into your responses. Really answer the questions, give good, full, coherent sentences, and answer them in each question in that 3 to 4, right? Like when we have something like 4 questions, when you submit a response, it should look like a pretty beefy response. So just make sure that you're putting some thought into this and not just what roles do a coach play on a professional esports team? Scouting reports. Please give me some more than that. You're not just answering the question, but you're answering and explaining. So I'm actually going to edit that in as soon as I finish filming this. So definitely explain your answers too. Don't just answer the question. Um, it's an online course. Needs you to engage with it just a little bit more. If we were in a classroom setting, it'd be a little bit different where we'd be talking about each of these. But please do some of your explaining when you're writing. Just a few extra sentences. It's not that hard. Anyways, so week 5 coaching. Answer each of these questions with 3 to 4 complete sentences. What roles do a coach play on a professional esports team? What roles do they play on a collegiate esports team? So this could be, these are very different roles. If you're on the esports team, you could talk to some of your coaches about it. Do a little bit of research as to how collegiate coaches are different from professional coaches. And if you have any specific questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer these. About like the differences in this. Other things. In your opinion, what's the most effective of the 4 coaching styles? So this is where you're gonna have to read that article. Go through it for me. Figure out what you think. I mean, obviously it's subjective. But in your mind, what is the most effective? Um, and then the next question is where it's geared more toward you. What coaching style works best for you? Meaning that you're coached by that style. So please go through, think about that. When they give the examples of how the different coaching styles are, think about when you've been coached or when you've been learning something, what works the best for you, and let me know uh, which one works the best and why. Kind of that's worked the best for you, whether it be your process or like how you retain the information, how you learn, how you grow. Give me some examples like that. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the video and what we have planned for class. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I will say you may need to do some of your own research again when it comes to like professional versus collegiate esports. But I find that like having to do the research yourself, especially in an online format, helps learn a little bit better, right? It's not just this video on 2 times speed to get through. You hear it once and then you just kind of throw it on the discussion, and there you go. Please really put some thought into these answers, how these roles are different at the professional and collegiate level. That's going to be really important as we move through the class, and then just esports as a whole, right? If you guys again have any questions, reach out to me, email, Discord, whatever works best for you. Uh, Always here to help, and hope you have a good week.